camera's miles away.
Well,
Hello.
Oh, we're live.
We're live. We need to get an intro. We used to have an intro, but it doesn't go with what we're doing. So
okay, we need to wite it down. Prepare
add
new
it to my list.
intro. Yeah.
Hi guys. If you're wondering why we're so squished up on the landscape live,
Abigail fancied a crutch.
it's because we're also vertical at the same time, and we're trying it out because StreamYard asked us, did we want to? So I said yes.
Like in a bash, innit?
They didn't email us or anything. Like it was just an option on StreamYard. So I've gone for it to see what happens.
Yeah.
So here we are. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're here to talk about planning. If I'm looking down here, it's because the comments are coming up here, and we're just checking what's going on. So yes, it does do 2 notifications.
Oh, look at that. Well, I'm this way.
I'll do it this way. Yes, why planning is so important.
And this
for maternity newborn.
This is the room that we do our planning in.
It is.
So
all of our stuff behind us.
Yes. We do a planning session with every single one of our clients. Doesn't matter what type of session they're doing. I feel like I'm not quite on camera. It doesn't matter what type of session they're doing. Everybody will sit down around this table with us and plan their session in quite a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And that's for a number of different reasons. And we really thought about our process and what it needed, why we needed that, if we needed that part. Yeah.
And I think the key reason, I think, is when you're in a session and it's all exciting and like your hormones are everywhere because you're pregnant or like you've just had a baby and there's loads of decisions to be made during that session, you could be making the wrong decision because you're under pressure and like you're anxious and everything else. Do you know what I mean? And we wanted to take that away and be able to have a nice calm session, let it flow and let the baby lead the session where we can, and just be able to enjoy the sessions rather than have that pressure on us.
Because by the time they come in for the session, they don't need to be thinking about anything. Everything is already set up and ready to go. And the only thing they need to concentrate on is looking, in the right direction for the photos.
Listening to what we got to tell them to put out a pause.
Yeah. So and also it's a great way of getting them involved so they have a choice in the colour or the prop or whatever it is you want to give them the choice over, but still having control over that session. So as much as every single session is planned down to a T with us, they are only choosing from the options that we're giving them.
Yeah.
So we are still in control of the props that we like to use, the beanbag fabrics that we like. They're
choosing what they want, so they think they're having the control. Yeah. And to a point they are. Yeah. But it's still
within the parameters of what we want to do. Yeah. So and it's nice that they get to sit, because that doesn't happen with every photographer, and that is part of their experience. They like to be able to sit down and get excited about the session and start talking about all of the colours and looking at the props, because when they do that part, even if it's for the newborn session, they're still pregnant.
Yeah.
They're doing this well in advance. So they're getting really excited very early on for that session. And then they leave and they've got an idea in their head of what that session's going to look like. And they just keep thinking about it, don't they? And it just builds the excitement.
Yeah. And I think a lot of photographers I've seen in the groups comment how calm sessions are. And they're saying, I can't achieve this calm in my session. I don't know how you're doing it. Or they always feel so chaotic. Or I always feel anxious. And those things don't happen by accident. They happen with a lot of planning and a lot of, right, let's put this in place so this can happen. And there's a lot of prep goes into those sessions to make them so calm and allow them to be that calm environment.
Yeah.
You've got to put the planning in place beforehand.
And once you've done that plan with the client, you can then sit down and work out your workflow. So for this...
Can I stop you 2 seconds?
Yes.
We've had a good morning. From California.
Oh, that's nice. Good morning. I mean, it's afternoon here, but good morning for you.
Yeah.
So once you've done that plan with the client and you know exactly what it is that they're looking for from the session, you can then sit and work out your workflow for the session. So, I mean, I'm going to keep going to newborn because I think that's the easiest one to kind of explain how that works. But for instance, we're using pink and we're using this prop and we're using this beanbag fabric and these outfits and this wrap. Great. So now I'm going to sit down and work out what's going to be the best course of action to get through all of these props.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with this one, and then we're going to move on to this one. And if baby's fussy and doesn't like it, then we're going to change to this wrap instead. And if baby doesn't like this prop on their back or on their front, we can swap it to on their back, and then we can move on to the beanbag. And you've already started to put that plan in place of, this is what I would like. This would be plan A. And then if things don't go to plan, because babies, do what they want, then that's fine. Because if this doesn't happen and baby doesn't like this position, or baby doesn't like this being an outfit, they need to be wrapped, this is what I'm going to go to instead. So you've got all of your scenarios and all your bases covered. So when you go into that session, you're not kind of, oh my God, what if this baby doesn't play ball? And what if I can't get this? And what if I can't do this?
And also you've got in your head, I can start with this wrap. Like I'll wrap this one over first, and then I'll put this one on top and this one on top and start with that.
Yeah.
But then I can take that one off and start and do this prop. And then I can take that one off, and you've got a workflow in your head of which order your wraps are going in. For example, if you're only doing a wrap session and you haven't got to wrap the baby, then unwrap the baby, then wrap the baby, and then unwrap the baby. So the baby's content all the way through because they wrapped and they're warm. And taking one wrap off is not going to change that because you've got 2 or 3 underneath.
Yeah.
So it's thinking of ways you can keep that baby as calm and comfortable as possible.
Correct. It is though, and it just takes the stress, a lot of the stress out of the session. And I think once you've got that down and you've got that kind of flow and it's worked a few times, it just builds your confidence, doesn't it?
It does, and it puts confidence, and it reduces the anxiety of your clients. They know that their baby is safe, or they are going to feel comfortable and safe in their maternity session, for example, because they've got a plan. They've got a plan in their head, and they know what they're doing going forward. They feel looked after. They feel safe, and everything just flows so much easier. I know I've said that a couple of times, but everything just, it makes your life so much easier when you're just doing one planning session.
Yeah, and I think, especially with maternity and newborn, anxiety is a massive thing for a lot of our clients because their hormones are all over the place. A lot of people are very anxious anyway, but you add in all of those extra hormones. And if you can take a little bit of that anxiety out by letting them visit the studio first, or whatever it is you're going to be doing the session, and they come and they visit you.
Not even if visiting the studio is great, but like just meeting you, if you're going to do it on location or somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just meeting you, even if it's on Zoom.
Yeah, so they get to get a feel for you and your personality. They know that you're going to kind of, be on the same hymn sheet when it comes to the session. For us, it's great for them because they get to see how the studio is, like where everything is. And they get
to park for the day and know that they can offload baby, and usually mum will get out, and then dad will go and park the car, so they know they don't have to walk miles from a car park. It's just little things that all make the whole experience that much easier for them.
And just even knowing the layout of the studio. So when they come in, for us, they take their shoes off at the door and they pop some slippers on, and then they walk through, and then they get to see, okay, so I showed them this is where the studio is and this is where we're going to be doing the session before I bring them into this room to do the planning session, the pre-session consultation. And then in their head, when they come back for the session, they know when they come in, they're already sitting down and taking their shoes off before I've mentioned the slippers, because they know that that's going to happen, and they know where they need to go for the studio, and they know where the toilet is, and they know that there's sanitary products in the bathroom, and they know that if they forget something, for the baby, the chances are that we'll have it here, because we've already talked about that and discussed what we've got here facilities wise. And it's just being able to relieve as much pressure off that client as possible.
And allowing the experience to start before their session. So the experience starts when we start planning from that first phone consultation, realistically. But when they come in for their pre-session consultation, that's where the real experience starts. And then they get excited, and we keep building that excitement till their session. And then hopefully, if our workflow works properly, the excitement and experience is felt all the way through to their viewing session and collection. And it's been a long process to get to where we are with that experience. But I think that pre-session consultation was a massive element of that.
Oh, definitely. And people love to come and sit out here and see all of the props and know exactly. They get really excited, don't they? That they get to see all of the 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 outfits and all of the cute little things
We've
we've
got another
got.
comment.
Oh, okay, go on.
I'm really sorry because I don't know how to pronounce your username, but the guy from California. Yeah, I was just checking he was Guy. I love your guys' execution ideas, very bright. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another idea that
2 seconds, sorry.
Go on.
If you are in watching, let us know in the chat where you are coming from, where you're watching from, because I do like to know.
She's just nosy. She
I
loves to
am
know
really
where
nosy,
you,
but I do really like to know.
Yeah, she does. Another idea that we had quite early on when we were working out our client experience was that clients need to see samples of products early on, and this is where we show them as well in the pre-session consultation. So once we've planned the session with them, I will then say, okay, so you've had our price list of all of the ways that we print, so you know how much everything costs. But it is just a list of words, it's this album and this album, and they're not going to know what that looks like. So I've got samples of the different ways that we print here, just so you've got an idea of what those things are. Don't need to make any decisions right now, just for you to have a look at it, have a feel of the fabrics, and
help them start planning.
Yeah, just understand what is available from us. And we're not pushy salespeople. We don't try and kind of say, oh, this is the album that you need, or it's none of that. It's just, again, to relieve that, oh, well, I've got a list of all these albums, but I don't know the difference. Well, here's the difference. This is this album. This is this album. Here are the differences between them. And it just comes down to personal preference, which one you prefer. And with wall art, our wall art is lining the corridor from the front door all the way back to this room. And it's got an example of, so we do kind of 3 different types of wall art, don't we? And it's got an example of the 3 types and the different
framing options or
so for instance, we do acrylic, we do canvas, and we do frames. And then our acrylic and canvas can be with or without a frame. And our framing option could be one aperture or multi-aperture. So we've got an example of all of those on the way through, so that when I say to them, okay, so you've had a list of our acrylics and our canvases and our frames, but this is what they look like. So you know what the difference is. So a canvas might not fit in the room that you want to put your wall art in, but an acrylic might look really, really good. And this is the difference between the two. And again, we're not being pushy. We're not kind of trying to force things down their neck. We're just saying, this is what I've sent you. These are the options
to think about over the next couple of weeks when we're going through our sessions and everything else. It gives them time to plan in their head what they would like.
And when they've come back in for their session, they always do it, don't they?
We usually open our viewing sessions with, have you got any ideas of what you want to do with the images, how you want them printed? And 9 times out of 10, they go, yes. So what I'm going to do is, and they will reel off exactly what they want, because they've been through the process and they've had the seeds planted, and we've helped them plan along the way where they would like things to go or what they would like them to look like.
What I was going to say was, when they come back for their session, as they're walking out of their session, they're then saying, oh, that whichever setup it was, that one in this frame here, this is the one that we were talking about, and we viewed it. They're not having a conversation with us, they're having a conversation with each other. This is the wall art that we were talking about when we go home. But can you imagine that setup in that basket, that picture on that one? And then by the time they come back in for the viewing, that's it. No, they've decided what they wanted. We haven't had to do any hard sales pitch. They've come in, they've gone, I want this piece of wall art, and I want this album with this material because I really love that velvet, or I really like the
and then our only job is, okay, great, do you need grandparent gifts, do you need Mother's Day gifts, or just adding little thoughts into their head of,
have you sorted your thank you cards?
If it's Christmas, do you need any Christmas presents? These are perfect for Christmas presents now at this time of year, and little things like that will be upgrades or add-ons that we're not pushing them on them. They just, have you had a think about this? Do we need any of that? Would you like to upgrade to this option? Because if you don't give them those options and they don't know they exist, it's doing them a disservice, because they could want thank you cards and they haven't had a chance to think about them yet. And you've gone, oh, can I alleviate you from that stress of doing a thank you card? We'll do that for you. And they, every single time, like, oh my God, yeah, please do my thank you cards. I am going to deal with it. That's another thing you've taken off my plate.
Yeah. And if they don't have to think about something, so if there's an event coming up that they are going to have to use brain power for to think of a gift for somebody, and they don't need to use, to do that, they love that, don't they? When we say, oh, well, there's Mother's Day around the corner. Have you sorted your Mother's Day presents out? Because that's the next one. Oh my gosh, no, that's perfect. Okay, so let me do this. Let me add this frame on and this frame on, and that's
Both
parents
grandparents done.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just about being intentional with your whole process. So being intentional with what you're saying, what you're showing your clients, what you're getting them involved in, and just creating an experience where they don't feel like they're being sold to, because our clients don't feel like they're being sold to.
And they don't want to be sold to.
No, they want to be able to see what options they have, see all of the beautiful things that we do, be part of that process of picking the colour of the fabric on their album, to match the fabric of the beanbag that they chose for their session.
We haven't got a sample of every single fabric. We've got the samples of the fabric we're happy for them to purchase.
Yeah, the ones that we like.
We are happy for them to have our artwork with those colours or those fabrics. Or like our printer does fabrics that we do not like. And we wouldn't be happy with ordering.
No.
With our artwork in, because then people would be like, oh we went to Abigail's photography and these are what we had, and we wouldn't want our name put on those because we don't like them. So
and they fit for other types of photography.
Yeah, everyone's got their own style and their own taste. So
it just
that's great.
Wouldn't be for us.
So we don't show them those products because we don't want to order those products. So it's about really thinking about what you want to provide your customers with, and how you want to come across.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any questions, guys? I know there's been quite a few people watching but not commenting. We've got another hi, but no questions. We never get questions, and I don't know why. It's probably because they can't get a word in edgeways because we don't shut up the whole entire time we're on a stream. We are going to leave it there if there are no questions. I don't think there's going to be, is there?
No.
There is a bit of a lag, so I don't want to go off too soon and then be like, oh yeah, okay, they had questions.
Okay, so while we're waiting for any questions, I think something that we didn't touch on was you get to know your client as well in these planning sessions. So that's something that is a bonus for you, because if you are wanting to give an experience, it's all about getting to know your client, spending time with your client, and the more you know about them, the more they feel...
The more personal you can make the service, the better.
The more they feel like they are special, because each one of your clients should feel special, especially if you were charging a premium for the service that you're giving. It needs to be very personal. That's the only thing I can...
Yeah, it just needs to be, everything needs to be as personalised as possible, because it makes the client feel valued, taken care of, and it gives them that next level experience.
Yeah, so it's just all about communication and just getting to know your client, letting them get to know you, alleviating as much stress as possible on both sides, because your session is going to flow that much easier. They're going to be less stressed.
Yeah.
Babies feed off stress, so the less stress in the room, the better.
Yeah.
So moral of the story, do a planning. Do a planning meeting.
Our favourite thing is to plan.
We love a plan.
If you've watched our podcast, we plan everything.
We do.
Down to the hour. Sometimes a minute. Okay, we will leave it there for today then, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, so that you can be notified next time we go live. There's loads more lives coming this week.
Yes.
Also check the description, because there are a few links there to join our membership, so that you can get members only content. There's a link for, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, the Photographer's Power Pack. That's a nice little nice
freebie.
Little freebie. There's the Maternity Academy link.
Yeah.
And our Facebook group.
Yes.
So check out the links, join in with what you want and what you can, and we'll see you tomorrow, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.